I fed my family of 5 for 7 days on a $50 grocery budget in this economy. Yes, y'all, I did it. And we ate really well all week. And y'all know how grocery prices are these days. And I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it. Stay tuned. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel where I talk about all things budget, and this week we are doing some serious budget cooking. As I mentioned earlier, I'm making 41 individual meals for under $50, and we're having full course soul food meals over here, y'all, because cheap meals don't always have to be beans and rice, wieners and pasta, or spam and spaghetti. You can eat really well on a small budget. You just have to plan. But yeah, we're making actual soul food meals for under $50. So if you've been searching for budget meals for your family, or you just want to know how to save on groceries without going broke, you are in the right place. I'm gonna walk you through step by step, showing you how to make affordable meals that are filling and easy to make. Before we get into the kitchen, I'm gonna head to my favorite grocery store, and that is Jovi's Smart Shop. Now, I do realize that everybody do not have a Jovi's in their state because it is specific to Texas. But if you do not have a Jovi's Smart Shop, I would suggest going to Aldi or Walmart. You will find similar prices at those two stores. Those are my go-to stores when I don't feel like driving all the way to Jovi's Smart Shop. But anyway, let's head to the store and get some groceries.
Warning, the footage you're about to see is of a mom who will be using some ingredients that are already in her pantry and fridge. Things like seasoning, eggs, milk. If that offends you, go ahead and grab a snack because you might get hungry watching. You have been warned. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
All right, y'all, here's what's on the menu for Sunday. Mesquite marinated leg quarters, Bush's baked beans, green beans, and of course, we gotta have some cornbread to pull it all together. Now, I went ahead and started on these neck bones first because they do take a little longer to cook. All I do is cover the meat with water and let it simmer until it's fall off the bone tender. Usually an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And listen, if you really want more flavor, you can use chicken stock or drop in a bouillon cube. But you gotta be careful because you don't want it to get too salty. While the smoked neck bones are slow cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the cornbread. I'm keeping it simple by following the instructions on the Jiffy box. Now, I know some of y'all aren't really feeling Jiffy, and I get it. So let me know in the comments, what's your go-to cornbread brand, or do you make yours from scratch? I've never made homemade cornbread, but I've got a ton of recipes that I am excited to try, y'all. I even saw one for sweet potato cornbread, and I was like, hold up, is that really a thing? I've gotta try it because that sounds too good to pass up. When I was growing up, my parents always made their cornbread from scratch, just cornmeal and a few other ingredients. And y'all, they had this cast iron cornbread pan where each little compartment was shaped like an ear of corn. That pan is older than me, and let me tell you, it made the best cornbread ever. If I can dig it up when I go out there, I'll bring it back so y'all can see it. While the cornbread is cooking, I'm going to put the marinated leg quarters on a foil lined cookie sheet. These went into the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour, but this is right at the halfway point. So I'm just poking a few holes in each piece because I'm going to pour the marinade over the top, and poking holes lets it seep all the way in. That way you get that smoky flavor with every bite. Now, if you skip this step, the outside will taste good, but the inside will taste bland. So you really don't want to skip this step. You want both the outside and the inside to have that smoky flavor. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I did marinate this chicken overnight. So once I get all of the marinade on there, they will go back into the oven for the remaining 30 minutes. And this is how they turned out, y'all.
Sin City wasn't made for you.
All right, let's get back to the green beans. I've drained both cans, and now I'm just pouring the green beans into the same pot with the smoked neck bone. For the seasonings, I used a package of onion soup mix, a dash of black pepper, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And it already had enough salt from the smoked neck bones. On the menu for Monday is homemade hamburger helper. I made this with the intention of having leftovers later in the week. One big pot of hamburger helper will stretch across multiple days. And when you're cooking on a tight budget, those meals that stretch is so important. For the seasonings, I'm using 1 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon, and that's all of the seasonings that I'm using. Now, the recipe that I followed uses Italian seasoning instead of oregano, but since I didn't have any, I'm going to use oregano. So this goes to show that use whatever you have to make ends meet. While that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get my pasta going. Now, the recipe I loosely followed had you cook the pasta right in with the seasoned meat, but I like mine al dente so it doesn't get too soft once everything comes together. You can totally cook the meat and pasta all in one pot if that's your thing, or you can do it separately like I do. Either way, it'll still come out good. I just added in 1 cup of crushed tomatoes and about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. That's what gives the sauce that deep, rich red color. Now, here's a little tip. After you add the tomato paste, let it cook for about 45 seconds or so. That cooks off that raw tomato flavor and makes your sauce taste so much better. I used to skip that step with the tomato paste and I always wondered why my sauce tasted a little off. Don't make the mistake I did. Let it cook for like 45 seconds. I also poured in 1 1/3 cup of chicken broth, a cup of heavy whipping cream, and I've added all of my cheeses, and I'm just mixing everything up and bringing it all together. If it looks a little dry, you can always add in more chicken stock. And here's how my homemade hamburger helper turned out.
Sin City wasn't made for you.
If you're wondering about the cinnamon and sugar knots, I got these at Walmart for $1.45. I also grabbed a bag of the garlic and butter knots. So the cinnamon and sugar was dessert. Garlic and butter went along with the homemade hamburger helper. It is Taco Tuesday, y'all, but today we're putting a little spin on it with enchiladas. First thing I'm doing is heating up some oil so that I can brown this ground turkey. Now, you can use whatever meat your family likes, but listen, the way these prices are set up, I had to get creative, so turkey it is. And honestly, my family never even noticed the difference. They will eat it up just the same. Now, if you're cooking on a budget, ground turkey is your best friend. Instead of using a homemade seasoning mix, I'm just going to keep it real and use this Taco Bell taco seasoning packet that I found in the back of the pantry. So here's my little setup with everything that I will be using to assemble these enchiladas. I've already warmed my tortillas on the griddle so they're nice and flexible. You definitely don't want to skip this step if you're using corn tortillas. So here's how I'm layering everything. First, a little homemade enchilada sauce, then the meat, and honestly, there's no particular order. By the time I got to the second and third batch, I definitely switched everything up. But guess what? It's still going to come out the bomb no matter what order you use. And since these tortillas are on the smaller side, I'm not overstuffing them because we do want them to roll up and close. There's nothing more annoying than a tortilla that doesn't want to close. I forgot to show this part, but once I assembled all of the enchiladas in a casserole dish, I poured the remaining sauce on top, and then I added the remaining cheese followed by the sliced black olives. It cooked in the oven uncovered for 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and this is how it turned out.
Sin City wasn't made for you.
All right, y'all. Wednesday's menu is giving real soul food vibes. We're having oven barbecue chicken, stuffing with cranberry sauce, and some corn on the side to balance it out. Now, let me tell y'all about this rub. We have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, a half teaspoon of cumin, a half teaspoon of white pepper, 2.5 teaspoons of chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm dumping all of these seasonings into a bowl and adding 2 tablespoons of oil. Now, usually I use olive oil, but since I didn't have any, I'm using vegetable. And for a flavorful chicken, don't just pat this rub on top and call it a day. We're gonna rub that seasoning all under the skin too. So when you bite in, the flavor hits all the way through. Now, I could have leveled this up with a drop of liquid smoke, but let me tell you, I didn't even think about it until just now. But either way, this chicken is going to come out tender, juicy, and full of flavor. These leg quarters are going into the oven for 400 degrees for about an hour, but listen, we're not just going to let them cook in there the whole time. About halfway through, I'm pulling them out so that we can cover them with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, which was on sale at Kroger for 99 cents about a month ago. Now, I'm only adding sauce to 4 of these leg quarters. The other 2 I'm leaving plain because my daughter does not like barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, ranch, nothing. She doesn't like any sauces. So plain seasoned chicken for her, but for the rest of us, I'm brushing that sauce on real good, making sure it's coated all the way. Then back in the oven they go to finish cooking. And when I tell you this was so good, y'all, look at how they turned out.
Sin City wasn't made for you.
Thursday's menu is giving straight Southern comfort. We're having oven-baked chicken, collard greens, black-eyed peas, some cornbread, and a yellow cake to finish it off. You already know it's going to be good. Now, I didn't soak my black-eyed peas last night. Life was lifing. You know how that goes. But that's all right because we're going to do a quick soak. Now, while that's soaking, I got my smoked neck bones going in 2 pots. One for the peas and one for the greens. And listen, when it starts bubbling, I'm going to drop in a packet of onion soup mix. Child, if you know, you know. That packet is magical. Now over here, the pot on the left is for the collard greens and the pot on the right is for the peas. I'm treating them both the same way. I was going to do the peas in the crock pot, but let's be real. 4 hours, y'all, that would have had us sitting down to eat at about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And we typically don't eat that late into the evening unless it's absolutely necessary. But have y'all noticed I'm not going heavy with the seasonings just yet? I like to hold off until the end because that's how you keep that flavor fresh and bold. Trust me, when it all comes together, it's gonna taste like somebody's grandma been stirring pots all day. I'm gonna cover these greens and let them cook for a bit. It's been about 45 minutes, so now I'm going in with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of sugar, some red pepper flakes, and a teaspoon of chicken bouillon. Give it a good stir so all those flavors can marry together. These greens are gonna be so delicious, y'all. Now listen, always season to your taste. I like to start with about a teaspoon of everything, but you know I'm tasting as I go. And if it needs a little more, I'll sprinkle in more because you don't want bland greens. Now sliding over to these black-eyed peas, I'm adding a teaspoon and a quarter of chicken bouillon, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of oregano. Then I'm hitting it with a half teaspoon of smoked paprika and a half teaspoon of Creole seasoning. And y'all, when I tell you this kitchen smells so delicious right now. Here are all the seasonings I'm using for this oven baked chicken. Now don't ask me for exact measurements because you already know. I just pour into the ancestors tell me that's enough, baby. But this time I'm using rosemary instead of oregano just to switch it up a little. I like to keep the flavor profile interesting. Now I'm lining these leg quarters up on a foil lined baking sheet, then pulling the skin back so that I can season underneath. That's the secret right there, y'all. Don't just sprinkle on top and call it a day. You want flavor all throughout the meat. Once I've got the inside nice and seasoned, then I'll pull the skin back over and hit the outside with another layer of seasoning. Remember, you want to taste the flavor in every single bite, not just a little sprinkle on the outside. The whole thing gotta be seasoned with love. Now, these are going in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour, but here's where we take it over the top. About the last 15 minutes, I'm pulling them out, pouring some melted butter right over the top, and sliding them back in to finish. That's what levels up the flavor, y'all. And this is how they look after 1 hour of cooking. I thought I was going to make a yellow cake mix with icing today, but y'all, when I went to grab my powdered sugar, it was all gone. Can't make homemade chocolate frosting without it. Now here's where God stepped in. I remembered I had a jar of vanilla icing left over from my daughter's birthday party. It was stashed away in the pantry. So I switched gears and said, all right then, strawberry cake it is. And to tell the truth, it pairs way better than yellow cake anyway, so it all worked out. Oh, and I do remember one of y'all did ask me about a socket to me cake. Don't worry, I didn't forget. I'm just gonna save that yellow cake mix for when I go out and get more powdered sugar because it's been a minute since I made one and I definitely want to try it, but I gotta have my powdered sugar so I can make my homemade frosting. This will go into the oven at 350 degrees for 36 minutes. Are y'all tired of chicken yet? Because I'm not. There are just so many ways you can cook it. Today we're making smothered chicken, and the best part, I don't have to worry about sides because we've got plenty of collard greens, black eyed peas, and rice left over. That's the beauty of cooking a little more than you need. It saves so much time in the kitchen. And you know what that means for me? More time with my family. I don't know about y'all, but I love when I can sneak in an extra family movie night, a board game, or even some video games. If your kids are gamers, trust me, nothing lights them up like you jumping in to play with them. Even if you're not good at it. I'm not good at video games, but my boys love when I play with them and we laugh the whole time. Now my daughter, she's into making furry costumes, so I pull out my sewing skills and believe me, I am no seamstress, but we work side by side learning together. And my husband, we first connected over baseball, so every now and then we'll play a few rounds of MLB The Show on the PS5. But for our anniversary this year, y'all, we booked a hotel near the Texas Rangers Stadium and went to a baseball game. It was so much fun. It reminded us when we first met well over 20 years ago. But I'm saying all of that to say this. It doesn't take much to connect with your family. Just lean into what they love and they'll do the same for you. Like my family knows that I love being outside on nature walks. So they will throw on their hoodies and come along with me. Now those little moments, that's what sticks with you. That's what making memories is all about. I've seasoned the chicken really well and coated it in some seasoned flour. Now we're going to fry it before it goes into the oven. And since I cut my leg quarters in half, I'm starting with the thighs first. Then I'm moving on to the drumsticks. And let me tell you, when I say these things are seasoned to perfection, it's about to be some good eating today, y'all. Now I'm loosely following my parents' recipe, but I'm adding my own little twist. Back in the day, they'd wash it, season it, put it in a casserole dish, and smother it with cream of chicken and cream of mushroom soup. But me, I like to fry it first because frying locks in all that flavor and gives the chicken a golden crispy crust that you see right here. That crust will hold up under all that cream of mushroom and cream of chicken soup when it's done. It's gonna make it juicy, tender, and full of flavor with every bite. Once it's finished frying, I'm placing it in my casserole dish, then smothering it with some herb flavored cream of chicken and a can of cream of mushroom soup. And then I'm going to top it off with a few slices of butter. Yes, y'all, a few slices of butter. That makes a whole lot of difference. And once I've done that, I'm going to cover it with some foil and then place it in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour. And when it comes out, y'all, it is going to be fire. And here are the leftovers from the other day. Saturday, we had leftover hamburger helper. This made 5 full bowls. Praise the Lord, I did not have to cook, y'all. This was our dinner Saturday. I turned $48 into 41 individual soul food meals. And if I can do it, you can too. Think about how far we can stretch a dollar when push comes to shove and we have to get creative in the kitchen. But listen, don't let these hightail grocery prices steal your joy. I'm talking to you. You got this. You can feed your family well even on a tight budget. Listen to me, y'all. Don't give up. Keep trying and everything will work out. If you enjoyed cooking with me today, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more budget cooking, budget meals, shopping on a budget, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and become a part of the family. I would love to have you over here, y'all. And share this video with anyone you know who needs a little meal planning inspiration. See y'all back next week where good food meets real budgets. I hope y'all have an amazing day and I will chit chat with you in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.